Welcome back to the channel. My name is Ryan, and we just watched the Orange Bowl, and wow, that game was over by the mid of the second quarter, midway in the second quarter. It was just run through. It's what we kind of expected, not to that level though. At least in my opinion, I was not expecting this game to be a 60-point blowout, even by 60. Goodness gracious! And I know Florida State had most of their defense not playing, some of their offense, but 60-point loss. Oh my gosh, that is bad. Georgia took care of business. They ran through them. They had third string, fourth stringers in at one point, close to the end of the game. It was just very bad. It was a tough game to watch at some points, unless you're a Georgia fan. It was kind of entertaining seeing how Georgia was just running through them. And this kind of proves what Georgia fans were saying, that they deserved the playoff spot. And you could understand that. And you might think, okay, why? How can you put them in? You can't put them over Bama. But the reason Bama got in was because we're talking about just the best teams. If we're talking about just the best teams, there's no way you can watch Georgia play this year and say, well, this team's not a top four team in the country. There's no way. And you can simply just do this. Do you think if Georgia played, they would beat Michigan? Yeah. Do you think they would beat Washington? Yeah. Do you think they'd beat Texas? Probably. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. A.D. Mitchell's on Georgia. Was on Georgia. Now he's at Texas. Texas has a lot of good talent. But Georgia probably would still win. The only team that they didn't beat was Alabama. So we're possibly looking at Georgia being a top three team, just talent-wise and just how they performed. They probably should have been in if we're just going off best teams. And they proved it again today. And they just ran. Kendall Milton had a field day, and Dejon Edwards had a field day running it. They didn't even have to play Brock Bowers. They just wiped the floor of them. The Florida State quarterback, I forgot his name. He had some good throws. He had that good deep ball at one point. It helped make it 14-3. And that was only 3 points they got. Those only points they got throughout the game. It was tough, very tough game for Florida State and their fans. This was a game that Florida State had a chance to possibly shock the world, prove why they should have been in the top 20, should have been in the top four, and they proved why they shouldn't have been in the top four, no matter what. But when you're talking about best teams and who's most deserved, you kind of just have to just accept what happened. And both of these teams here both thought they should have made it in. They have good cases for both of them, and one of them prevailed heavily today. And Georgia, Carson Beck made the right throws. Again, Kendall Milton had a lot of great runs, and Dejon Edwards did too. Dejon Edwards had a lot of plays that he wouldn't get touched by anyone until like 9 yards into the play. They already have a first down. And a lot of times they'd score touchdowns when he wouldn't even be touched. A lot of very interesting stuff. And with this same team that they're going to have, like a lot of guys coming back, with this offensive line with Trevor Etienne, it's going to be ridiculous. It's just going to be ridiculous. There's just no way that this team is not going to have the best run game out of anyone in the SEC next year. They can just run the ball the whole time and they're going to score. Trevor Etienne was the best, in my opinion, the best player in Florida in this year. He was phenomenal. Gray Mertz was pretty solid. You had Ricky Pearsall. He made a lot of great plays, but consistently Trevor Etienne was getting the ball and he was making stuff with it. Now he's not going to be there at Florida. What are you going to do there? I don't know. But SEC is going to be a lot of fun next year to see what happens with this stuff. And this Georgia team proved it. They made sure to remind everyone we're still the best team in the SEC. You could argue they were. You could argue they are, but they're not right now. We'll see next year what happens. They have a lot of tests very early on. It's going to be interesting to see. Right now, Alabama's the best team. Probably will be next year. I think they're going to get better. Maybe some surprise teams happen. Ole Miss is one of those surprise teams. They might not even be a surprise. Their schedule's very easy compared to the rest. They start off with two very, like Furman and some other school, and then Wake Forest, and then some other easy ones, and then Kentucky and South Carolina. Very easy schedule, especially for the talent that they have. So Ole Miss can be elite. Georgia has probably the worst schedule to deal with. Them and Florida have just pain to deal with. And for Florida State, You're going to have to redo this ACC. You're going to have, I think, SMU's joining Cal and Stanford. That's going to be really weird to see. They can probably run it back. They can probably run it back, probably win the conference, and have a very good chance. I know Jordan Travis isn't going to be there, which is going to suck for them. But I wish he would have been. I wish he'd have been able to stay healthy, see what happened. They probably would have made the playoffs. But this game was just a complete wash. It was bad from the start and bad now. It was not bad from the start, really. They had some decent stuff. They did some decent stuff. Then it just went downhill, and it was just bad. And once they started running the ball consistently, it was just over. And yeah, Carson Beck is going to be pretty good. I remember, I think Jesse Palmer mentioned at one point saying that Carson Beck might be a top pick in next year's draft. No. That would be a very bad class if Carson Beck is one of the higher rate quarterbacks in it. More like Stetson Bennett, in my opinion, where he's going to fall at. I'm interested to see what's going to happen next year. A lot of stuff this year we're going to have to figure out. A lot more bowl games to be played. But 63-3, good gosh, that is a very bad performance. But good job, Georgia. And Florida State, first loss of the year, comes in a big stinker. But a lot of guys you did not have playing. But even then, score more, please. Like, they put in their backups too. You still got dominated. So, yeah. Next year's going to be fun to watch how Georgia plays. Oklahoma's going to have a big pain. I'm not sure if I'm sure if I can say the same thing about Texas. It's going to be interesting to see, though. So, yeah, that's my little live reaction for everything. Not a whole lot to add, but it's just something to give at least. So, yeah. Hope you have a great day. Stay safe, y'all. And God bless y'all.